Welcome back to Shadow of the Colossus. So
There you go, wandering.
now that Wonder is up again, let's continue our quest. So let's see where
Hey
to.
everybody, I'm on my way.
Yeah, basically. All right. So where to now? Through there.
Alright
A
then.
crevice. Doesn't look too inviting, but then again, what placer does?
There we go.
Well, some places in this world, in this overworld, actually are some relatively calm, soothing. So,
Yeah, but I'm
others,
talking about welcoming.
well,
It's a
yeah,
nice landscape.
obviously others are more menacing than anything, like the swamp that we crossed the last part, for example.
Hey, at least we didn't come to a graveyard.
No, I don't think there is one. Well,
No.
technically, yes, there was those. I suppose those tombs where we fought Phaedra, maybe.
Somebody must have left behind these ruins.
Well, we know, Jova. We know that was a civilization once was here, but for some reason now everyone is gone. It's only the dominion of this Colossus and it's forbidden land. No one is allowed to enter here.
Maybe it's the Airy. Or maybe it's the same people who made the...
There will be a huge nuclear blast in the middle.
Maybe it's the same people who made those dickish ruins from Last Guardian.
Possibly, that's actually a possibility.
That actually is a much stronger possibility. Yes.
Oh Jesus! Again, Jova, the fact that we don't know much can mean anything. Again, it could easily be a post-apocalyptic world for all we know.
I mean, yeah, I will admit, I do wonder. I'm guessing that story is not really the main focus on this game because, for the most part, don't get me wrong, the game and gameplay definitely interest me enough. But I will say this, I've heard some people say that, oh, this game has such a gripping, compelling story.
It does,
And I'm
Jova. It's
like,
just, well, you have to understand, Jova, that the story of, unlike Last Guardian, which is much more, well, I wouldn't say cutscene heavy, but like, it's much more obvious about what the kind of story it's telling. The story of Shadow of the Colossus is told purely through the visuals and the music and the gameplay, not so much through cutscenes and dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's fine and all, but people saying that as a gripping story, I mean, when I think gripping story, I think like, oh, there's a lot to it. I mean, well, but like from the way people describe
Well,
it,
there will be a bit more meat to it by the end of it, Jova, but
the
again,
story,
you'll be the judge of that.
I think the word, I mean, gripping is not exactly the right word for it anyway. I think the interesting word is like, like an interesting story because of the idea of, because of specifically the message it tells at the end of the game. Let's just say again at the end of this game we'll have a plot twist that suddenly sheds complete new light on everything that's been happening since the beginning.
right.
Yes.
I guess my only doubt is like, well, how much the plot twist will matter because, again, I mean,
Oh, trust
okay,
me, it will.
I can tell you, Jova, it will matter on different layers, both for the story and
Up to something.
both for the story and as a game itself. So.
Yeah.
I'll say this: Wonder right now still interests me as a character. I guess what is sort of boggling me a bit is how, like, well, in the grand scheme of things so far, while the stakes, yeah, he wants to rescue his girl, are there.
We're about to get Jova. Basically, I think it actually is my favorite Colossus. To be
Let him
honest.
finish though. Go ahead.
Really?
Jova.
I think, like, well, I get the stakes about his girl dying, but other than that, the story does not feel quite as heavy, per se, as, some people were making it out to be. Like, well, you're like, oh, okay, compare this with
I
Last
think that has
Guardian.
to do with the ending, though.
Yeah.
Not just that,
When
Jova,
when people speak of that, Jova, they're talking about the ending because the ending is what really shows what exactly has been going on this whole time that we didn't know
Not
about.
just that, Jova, you have to think also of what this game was back then. Obviously, The Last Guardian was had a much more focus on plot than this.
Well, I mean, well, I'll tell you, that's what
Oh, there we go.
Today still speak highly of the story.
No, they do, Jova. That's because, again, don't worry, Jova. How about we get back to
Yeah,
that on the
what,
ending?
I'll wait and see.
Because trust me, there's going to be a lot to speak of when we get to the ending of this game.
This isn't a particularly long game anyway, so...
No, not really.
Kuromori, the Gecko.
Okay, uh-oh, let me guess. He
Not
It's
falls-
not
oh,
good,
Shiroi, not oh. This Colossus is anything but cute because especially in hard mode because in hard mode this Colossus is a fucking nightmare to fight because this Colossus has a very crafty AI that it seems to always know what I'm trying to do. And constantly foils my plan, so I have to try to basically it's a duel
Oh,
of
and he climbs the wall.
basically it's a
Yeah,
duel
he-
of wits.
He has also one of the nastiest weapons in the entire game.
Yeah.
a scorpion tail?
No, basically,
Nope.
Jova, he can spit from his mouth. Oh, here's what I recommend doing, by the way, when fighting this boss in hard mode. Jump there,
No, no,
grab
no.
this, then grab this, then grab this, and then fall, and there you go. You managed to get to the ground way quicker than if you went down the stairs.
Basically, I don't know if Pedro manages to show it, but these Colossus spew
Aw.
what can be described as electric poison breath.
Yeah. Basically, if this thing breathes on me, not only does it hurt a lot, it also causes a temporary poison status where I lose health gradually.
Very
so,
fast.
so, and especially considering in hard. Oh, there you go. See, it's also. I also have to be careful when it eventually turns. So, if you're playing on hard mode and you're not doing the new game plus, because when you're playing on new game plus, it tends to be easier because you have higher stats. But I'm doing a complete new game on hard mode, so it can be a bit tough, especially
I
if you're
mean,
not
let's-
as used to the game as I am, since I've been playing since 2005.
He doesn't seem too bad so far.
Trust me, Jova, I'm making it a lot easier than it looks.
Remember,
Because,
Pedro's
you know,
somebody who
Pedro-
knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
True.
Pedro knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I will admit though, he does look a bit cute when he's on his back like that, you know, before you stab him.
Yeah,
in the
he's
stomach.
adorable.
Seriously.
I like to see you fight this boss on hard mode, see how adorable you think he is.
Well, okay. To be fair, I have beaten plenty of bosses in critical mode on Kingdom Hearts that are so unfair, but I still
Not a
find
fair
you.
comparison,
Well,
completely different
Not just,
style of
yeah, not
gameplay.
just that, Jova. Kingdom Hearts works more on a question of agility and everything. This is more a battle of wits rather than strength.
What I meant is like, well, I've played plenty of tough bosses, but I still find them cute.
There you go. You see, he spewed. Time.
So yeah, as you can see, whistling is a good way to attract his attention.
The only ways that you can actually make this boss fall from the walls is either hit the weak spot like Pedro did before, or hit 2 of the 4 legs. That way he will lose his balance and fall.
Exactly. Let's see if I can.
Thank
go.
God he can't. Well, thank God he can't break his way in.
Actually, Jova, he can because
I
this
was waiting for that.
this particular structure is actually breakable. As the boss, if the boss battle goes on for long, every time he throws something at you, here you go, right
Oh,
there.
here we go.
Every time he throws that bolt of lightning, he breaks a part of the structure. So yes, the structure will gradually
Yeah,
break
you can
over the
see
course.
the light coming in there.
Can he get inside and chase after you though?
He cannot, but the more he breaks, the less space he'll have to maneuver and plan accordingly. So
Next gen.
make sure you don't linger around too long, because otherwise the boss can get even harder than he already is. Alright, let's try that again. So yeah, like Teo said, I'm trying to shoot down 2 of its legs.
There we go. 1 go.
And there we go.
There we go. Oh, come on.
The problem is that it takes quite a bit to. There you go. Basically, Teo, on hard mode, his legs
Free.
heal. No, actually, it's not that Teo. It's his legs heal much quicker in hard mode.
Okay.
All right, so fuck. There we
That
go.
wasn't a
Oh.
very good idea.
Hey, it worked, didn't it?
As long as it works.
All right, this time I have to be
Looks like
careful. I
he's ready to get
cannot,
his belly rubbed.
I cannot afford to let him turn me over this time. So I can't take too many risks.
So,
This trust me,
guess-
trust me. Teo, fighting this boss in hard mode is a whole nother story.
I'm
Oh,
guessing
I
this
can
boss is
imagine
your
that.
favorite because of how crafty he is, Theo.
And the particular type of weapon, I actually never thought of an idea like electric poison cloud.
Makes sense.
And remember, the other Colossi tend to be more physical, at least at this point. These ones seem to be preferring the middle range tactic, so it never goes close and personal to you unless it does damage when it turns over. To be fair, it's not the only Colossus that will use this tactic. In fact, the next one, which is one of my less favorite, the next one after this, is actually very fond of long-range tactics.
While we're
But we'll
doing
get to
while
it.
we're at this, I'll just say one more thing before we wait. I'll just say here's a good way to speak to talk about the differences between the two plots, Jova. Last Guardian story is a more emotional one. This one is a more thought-provoking deconstruction one. But
Yeah.
but it will
It's more
become
similar to.
but it will
it's more
become
similar
more
to
clear
Nier in that
when we
regard.
finally see the bigger picture at the end.
From what I can understand, I'm guessing, like, well, this is probably one of those stories where, most of the plot happens, or, pretty much comes to a point at the end.
Yes, but
Pretty
the
much.
plot technically is already happening. It's just that you don't really see it. It's just that the game gives you a lot of hints to what's actually going on, both musical wise, visuals wise, and gameplay wise. And then at the end, everything is revealed, and then you suddenly look at the entire game experience in a whole new light.
Oh.
Basically,
Where are you?
the game
Come
is
on.
playing you like a damn fiddle.
Like this boss right now.
There you go.
Oh Jesus! There you go. That's the poison cloud.
Oh boy.
All right.
Well, that limits where we can work from now, doesn't it?
Yeah, not just that. The poison cloud can actually be working on multiple layers of where you stand. So be very careful.
Let's try.
Also, I'm
and-
surprised about
Fuck.
the difference between the name and the actual appearance. In Japanese, the name is basically it's a combination, kind of a portmanteau, but it's referred to the term that they use for bats. But
Weak
instead,
point,
it
weak
looks
point,
like
weak point, weak point. There it is.
Did they ever mention these guys' names in story?
No.
no,
you-
only. At first, it was only in the game files, but then they got more official in the, for example, the trophies, for example, for the PS3 version.
and and you can also see on Strategy Guide. Basically, you can go to Shadow of the Colossus wiki and you can see them all.
Well, yeah, of course.
Not that the names really mean anything aside from giving brief descriptions.
Yeah.
They're just there for the sake of further adding the identity.
In fact, remember, the Colossi are not just gathered by the names, but also by what they look like. That's what's important the most. Uh-oh, I do believe you're a bit too late, Pedro.
Well, let's see.
Ah, okay, at least you give a couple of stabs.
There you go. Trust me, you cannot try to rush this boss in hard mode. If you're playing on New Game Plus mode with a higher life bar and a higher grip bar, sure, you can take far more risks. But when you're doing a 0.0 new game that like I'm doing, trust me, fighting this boss is basically an exercise in patience, because if you try to get smart and try to take too long on his back or not be careful with his attacks, you'll get killed and you have to start the boss all over. So don't try to be smarty pants.
Alright, where is it? Oh, there you go. Already down there.
Let's try and attract his attention.
Not only that, Joe, what I mentioned about this being my favorite Colossi, this also kind of works as a proper hunting mission, sort of. Most of the
Yeah.
Colossi so far have been more straightforward than anything. This feels more like a proper
A hunt.
hunting for
A
prey.
duel
Yeah.
between the hunter and the prey.
But who's the hunter and who's the prey? Too
Yeah.
pretentious.
I'd say we're both hunter and both prey.
We'll get back to that in the end. Oh look,
There we
weak
go.
point. Ah, fuck.
Oh,
You get. Yeah, thank you.
there we go. Oh, never
Oh,
mind.
it's literally blinking to signal.
All right.
Cheer.
There we go. See? Ha ha ha. Gripping,
Yeah,
gripping mechanics,
these are-
bitch.
It's a good thing that his arm way has not been dislocated, but it's a video game, so...
Did you know about that trick too, of using the pillars to fall quicker?
Yeah, too bad I never had good timing, so I just bomb rush it to the end. And I never,
You
besides
took
I
the
never,
stairs.
not just that, no, I never stayed on a higher floor to begin with, so the
Oh.
damage I think was minimal.
Oh, I'm guessing you stayed at the bottom and try to shoot him from up top.
No,
Oh.
because it doesn't work. Like I
Well, technically,
tried and it doesn't work.
technically, it does work too. It's just very risky because you're very open to his attacks.
Yeah.
But it can work. I have done it before actually.
Remember, the thunder poison cloud has a very huge range.
It
so
does.
if it gets to you, you need to get out of there fast. You need to have an escape route of some sort.
Alright, let's climb back up.
Oops. End of the line. There you go.
Alright.
Where are you?
Where are you? Alright, let's
Here.
see.
Well, again, Jova, the name is more fitting.
Hmm.
Alright, this should... Basically, I'm looking for a particular
An
floor,
opening,
a floor that has an opening so that I can jump.
Yeah. Also, yeah, like Pedro showed, you can use the whistling
Oh,
to
there you
actually
go.
catch his attention.
Let's see.
Wonder what happens if he tries to catch you around this open area.
Oh
He
crap.
can't.
Oh shit,
can he?
that
Whoa!
Jova, you got your answer.
Well, never mind. Boy, every time I ask for something, I get it. Oh, phew, you can go around that.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Alright.
Where is it now? Oh, it's up there.
Aha!
There you go.
Alright, let me see if I can get to the... Oh fuck!
Oh no, that's a bad
Well,
idea.
shoot, I think he was expecting that.
I remember it's like what Pedro said. These Colossi get smarter and smarter as time passes by.
Like, he ain't even gonna risk exposing that. Speaking of exposing... Oh, snap.
Weak point, weak point, weak point! Ah, fuck!
Nope.
Uh-oh.
No, you got it, I think.
A little bit more.
There we go.
Fall!
Oh damn it.
Thank you.
Huh.
Alright, time for the final blow.
Hopefully. Whee! There we go. There you go, there you go.
Uh-oh.
Don't
No,
worry.
no, you should be fine.
And there we go.
There we go. And stay down, please.
Stand
I wanted to
down.
live my life and crawl up the walls.
Stand down, worthy adversary.
True. I'll give him that.
Yuck. Bluff.
Alright, one more down. We still,
Time for the 9th one.
we still have yet another Colossus to take down in this part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger,
Again,
one of the bigger ones.
And one
Oh
of my
boy,
least
they get
favorite,
even
to be fair.
bigger.
Oh, trust me, Jova. Yeah, the final Colossus is the biggest one by far.
Of course he or she is.
And now a flashback, or rather a dream, more like.
A vision.
Oh.
Again, there's only one thing in Wander's mind right now.
Hold the fort, guys. I'll be right
No.
back.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll...
Oh!
Yeah, remember, Wander is kind of hoping for all of this.
Wakey wakey.
The dude, the personal space, come on. There we go. Again, subtle techniques. Alright.
How he has the energy after waking up like that, I don't know.
Maybe
The
each
power of
teleport
Wander is
gives him
really
a
that
new
strong, sure,
renewal
right?
of energy. It's kind of like he has a good
Seriously.
rest.
We don't know what he says, aside from the beginning, but the game does a very great job in telling you the fact that Wander really cares, really loves his girlfriend and would do anything for her.
Mm-hmm.
His action speaks for him, basically. Alright, I'll take over
Alright,
for
let's
this.
see what the next one is.
My next foe is the land where trees never grow. It sleeps in a dry lake bed.
A wolf?
No, you wish, Jova. A rude awakening. Oh, doves.
Oh, hey, doves.
Is it a John Woo movie now?
Maybe. Oh, hey! Aggro, you can actually come in here.
Yeah, just like...
That's kind of an open.
We
Yeah.
also entered the wedding.
Her.
Sorry, yeah, her. Alright. Oh, I guess he's gonna
Well,
pray.
let's say pray.
420 praise it. Alright, let's see where to go then.
Not there.
Oh, no.
Not there.
So, in that direction. Yeah.
On the other
Okay.
side
then.
of the.
So I guess we have to go all the way back.
I just say, Java, for this case, the Dormin's hint, especially the Rude Awakening, works more not just for the Colossus itself, but for how to defeat it. It's gonna be more clear when we'll get to it.
Oh, is it a bull?
No, we already defeated one, Taurus.
True. We did.
No, Quadratus, sorry, the second.
Yeah, we beat a Minotaur and a bull at that. I wonder if one of these colossi is a lion.
Oh yes, Java, there is one, but
Lovely.
we're not there yet, Java. For now, more beautiful scenery porn.
All
You can
Curtis.
see,
All
you can hear Peter Jackson getting aroused just by watching this. I mean, to be fair, considering the variety of environment, this does feel like New Zealand. The reason why New Zealand was perfect for filming is because it has basically every environment that you can imagine.
So yeah, the next Colossus is somewhere in that black fog.
Like Dormy mentioned.
Whoa,
I tried-
whoa, Aggro,
Whoa.
whoa, Aggro,
You okay there, buddy?
whoa.
I
Let's,
think she just threw him off.
let's not go crazy there.
So you're gonna leave her trapped in those rocks.
That's okay, Chiro. She knows how to get here.
This was the point
there, she's
where
fine.
the game. This
No,
was the
she's
point
still
where the game
stuck.
has become a spirit
No,
riding
she's not.
free.
You'll see.
No, this game is too beautiful.
Actually, it is until we
This
turn
is just
away. I'm
wall.
guessing.
You'll see.
Maybe it's with that ominous black cloud over there.
There you go, see? She's about to find her way back to me.
It looks like she went further. Oh wow,
There you
clever
Yeah,
girl,
to
clever.
do
She's a smart
way
mouse.
around. Yes.
It's a bit- it was funny though how, oh boy, girl, we had a bit of a scare there. For a moment, I thought you were about to go the way of our attacks, only not with Swamps of Sadness, but with a glitch.
But Jova,
Right
the
over to
point
the
of
ominous
leaving
cloud.
is death.
Seriously,
Seriously, fuck that scene. To be fair, though, Jova, like I mentioned, that's not the thing that traumatized me of Neverending Story.
No, it was the wolf.
Gmork, seriously. Fuck the composer, because you instilled me so many nightmares with that fucking theme.
Alright, let's go. Oh look, geysers.
Puff of steam.
Huh.
Yeah, just like Dormy mentioned, a dried up lake.
These colossi sure picked the most lovely places to hang out in.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Not just that, Jova. Yeah, as you can see, the huge steam which is a barrier against the sunlight. For that. I'll mention more what I will say later because we're about to get our ninth Colossus.
Are we above lava right now?
No, I don't.
We must be above something hot for there to be geysers here. And with all the smoke around,
Here we go.
Oh god, the Colossus has a fire breather, isn't it?
No?
Very good, Jova. Oh, remember, Terry, it kind of is.
Well, okay,
It's a dragon, isn't
Nope.
it?
No, it's not a
Bazaran,
dragon.
the turtle.
A turtle that breathes fire.
Oh, a fire
Well,
turtle.
we've seen that before.
Well, bring it on
Shiroi,
then.
aren't there animals in the Harry Potter universe that are turtles that fart fire?
I don't know.
Well, I thought there were in the first 2 games at least. Alright,
Oh.
here's what the strategy supposedly is. Well, it works for this remake obviously, but let me bear with me with this. You see those geysers? This Colossus is impenetrable at this point. There's nothing that can make you flinch properly.
You cannot
So what
climb
is
it, so obviously you have to improvise.
So basically, you need to lure it on when a geyser is right under it, so that when the geyser actually erupts, it will actually destabilize its balance. You hit.
There you go, there's the fire right there.
Well, it's more lightning, yes.
Hey.
No. That looks like fire he's shooting out of
It's
his...
orange.
There you go. Look at that. When it's doing that, you need to hit the weak spots on the legs, and that
We
should
can
do
get
it.
there.
Here's the problem. In the original release, this was nearly impossible because of how the coding worked. Because basically the geysers worked basically like at random. They worked just like they wanted, what they wanted, without a proper logic. So we got points where the Bazaran was standing right there on the geyser and nothing was going on. So this was a really frustrating boss back then.
I bet you couldn't see anything in the other version either.
Oh, I don't
wa-
even imagine what it was on the PS2.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough because not only were the visuals not helping, the frame rate was garbage.
Yeah.
So it was.
Particular on time, this boss was particular on time attack was a nightmare.
Yeah.
From what I see.
Which is why.
Then
Which
you
is
just
why
need
it's
to
such a great.
reach the ledge, and as soon as the Colossus will get up again, you should be good.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Oh boy. So let me guess, like most tortoises, his weakness is in his underside.
Surprisingly, no, Jova.
Really?
Yeah.
So his
Still gotta
weakness is
scale this
up.
thing.
Well, first I have to
Just
find a
do-
way to get on top of its head, which means
the problem,
walking
Joe,
all
but
along
again,
its
with-
spine.
There are no grabbable spots, so this Colossus is extra dangerous when he shakes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well,
This ragdoll physics is amazing.
Steady now.
to the head, to the head, to the
There
head,
we
to the head, to the head, to the head. Ah, done.
Talk
There
to
we
the
go.
head.
There we are.
There we go.
Take this.
All right. Fortunately, when you do get to this particular, when you get into the top of his head, from this point on, the boss is you're pretty much already won. Why? This is the only weak point in the Colossus, so this is the only one you have to stab.
Guess it makes sense since he has such a hard shell.
Not just that, Jova, but the surface where his weak point is completely even, and it's and as you can see, there's always these intervals where he has his head right like that. So it's very easy. And as you can see, my stamina isn't even running out that fast. That's because I'm in a place that's much. I'm not running on. I'm not grabbing on a wall or something like that. I'm literally on top of something. So I spend much less stamina while grabbing it. So basically, once you get to the head, you've pretty much beat the boss.
Basically,
Sounds
the
like
challenge
this
is
boss
more
is a lot
getting
tougher than...
getting on top of the boss rather than actually defeating it.
It almost seems like it's a boss that was made tougher because of the limitations of the PS2 version.
Kinda,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, as soon as you get onto it, as long as you're good at holding on, bam.
And all right, one more strike.
Or wonder.
And
There you go. I'm sorry, I don't feel pity for you. Sorry.
I mean, you're a
They're just
turtle.
minding their business.
I'm not
this one
sure.
was
This
active.
guy
Sure,
tried.
you come along and start stabbing them in the head. You know,
To be
I
fair,
do
sure.
it too.
To be fair, Shori, this guy fired the first shots. Like, he shot fire at us
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we even did anything.
Also, trust me, Shiro, the next Colossus, which we'll do in the next part, but the next Colossus will not be that merciful and charming. Trust me.
Okay.
Wait, this was merciful?
Yes.
By comparison, probably.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. The next Colossus is, let's just say it's different than the others.
So which one's
Yes.
your favorite, Pedro?
My personal favorite, I guess maybe. That's a good question. I guess the last one, just because of the spectacle.
16. Okay.
I can only imagine how big that one's gonna
Oh,
be.
trust me, Jova, it is worth the wait.
It is the island itself.
No, that would be a bit too much, especially for the PS.
Sorry, Shiro, the PS2 cannot handle that.
It might.
All that brass processing. Anyway,
Thy next foe is an isolated sand dune. Its tracks are well hidden. Shaking the earth, its gaze is upon thee.
oh yes.
Is it a snake?
Close.
Very,
Scorpion?
you're close, Shiro. You're close.
You'll see in due time, don't worry.
All right, everybody. But before we close off, I think
Yeah, let's just check how Wander is.
let's check on Wander. See how he's doing.
Don't worry, Shiro.
Let's see. First, let's pray. Yeah.
Praise.
What did you do to the horse?
No.
Oh,
All right. Let's see.
hi.
Oh, maybe I should get a bit closer to this, and there we go. Oh,
Yeah,
his neck has seen better. It looked like his neck has seen better days.
I can't quite see the lines, but it is visibly dark.
Darker, yeah.
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 well, I'm sure
Should be fine.
It's just a bit of dirt is all. It's fine.
You just
All
need
you
a
need is a
shower.
good bath afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I can. Do I? No, I don't. All right, everybody. In the next part, let's just say we kick things up a notch. So,
All right.
see you
Yeah.
then.
See ya.
See ya.